I'm with SKIM and Chief Methodology Officer responsible for innovation and methodologies at SKIM, where we're an expert in conjoint type of methodologies, and that's also what we're going to talk about today. But then going mobile. What we see as an opportunity is what we call a change in the market, a transition in the market from what we would call the domestic citizen or the domesticated citizen to the mobile citizen. What that means is that what we see is that the digital life of people basically transitions from revolving from a laptop or a desktop computer at home. So that's also the opportunity where they basically take our surveys to what we would call that a mobile citizen, where the digital life basically revolves around the smartphone that is with that digital citizen, the mobile citizen, 24/7. So what it allows us to do in the surveys that we take from them is that we don't only look into who they are, which was pretty easy when they were taking the surveys at home behind their desktop and notebook computers, but basically also not only who they are, but also where they are, when they are there, and what they're up to, what they're doing at that point in time. And what that makes us believe that we can do is not only take into account as to who the person is, but really what the context is in which the person is operating. So basically, the person will be primed and will be shaped by the environment he or she is operating in. For example, the stimuli that is in the environment. And basically that primes, that's also influential on where they are, when they are there, and what they're up to, what they're doing at that point in time. And what that makes us believe that we can do is not only take into account as to who the person is, but really what the context is in which the person is operating. So basically, the person will be primed and will be shaped by the environment he or she is operating in. For example, the stimuli that is in the environment. And basically that primes, that's also influential on the responses in the surveys. So that's an opportunity that we really want to take in our surveys, but by also making the surveys for just based on who they are, taking it to context-based surveys. And how we're going to do that is something that we're going to explain to you today, and I'm joined here by Caspar, who takes you through the next set of slides.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. Well, my name is Caspar Hautvast. I work at Vodafone in the Netherlands in the Market Insights department, and our role as a department is actually to watch what's going on in the market. So to see what our competitors are doing, to see what our customers need, and decide on how to act upon that. Before I start with further introduction, I would like to begin with a test of your knowledge of the Dutch market. Suppose you're a Dutch consumer. How many operators do you think you can choose from if you want a mobile connection? So raise hands if you think it's less than 10. Okay. Raise hands if you think it's more than 10. More than 20? More than 30? More than 50? Anyone? Okay, the correct answer is 66. So why am I asking this? To give you an indication of how competitive the Dutch market is and, of course, the importance of our department. What you see appearing here on the screen is an overview of the market situation that we're facing. So we have 4 mobile network operators, but we have 62 virtual network operators. So they have wholesale deals and they sell contracts to consumers as well. But next to that, we also have fixed operators, and they're starting to offer mobile services. We are offering a fixed portfolio currently. So there's a lot of convergence going on. And on top of that, we also have the so-called over-the-top players, such as WhatsApp, Skype, Google, Facebook. They sell their services on our network and actually competing with their traditional revenues. So this looks pretty crowded, huh? So the key challenge, what we're working on every day, is how to stand out from the crowd. And at Vodafone, we believe we can differentiate by being always easiest. We want to be easy to deal with, and we also say always because that implies continuously seeking for improvements. We also say easiest because that implies you're easier than competition. It implies differentiation. So how is that being translated into what we offer? First of all, we want to have products that are easy to choose and easy to use. One example is Vodafone Red. Some of you may have come across Vodafone Red because it's launched in multiple markets currently. Vodafone Red is our answer to the changing mobile consumer. So we see a shift from traditional usage to more data usage. So Vodafone Red is our data-centric subscription. People get unlimited voice, unlimited SMS. They only have to choose their data bundle and choose their handset, of course. So it's easy to choose. It's also easy to use because you don't have to worry about going out of bundle for voice and SMS. And it's supported with a rich package of advantages such as cloud services, but also contact backups or replacement handset services. But we also want to be easy to be in contact with. And for that we use a mobile channel. Actually, I truly believe that mobile makes life easier as a customer. In the Netherlands, I can do my banking through my mobile phone. I can even store my boarding passes on my mobile phone. And as a Vodafone customer, you can manage your contacts through the mobile application that we offer. You can see your call credit status. You can also activate products, and you can chat directly with a service employee. But we also want to be easy in participating in surveys. And I do believe that mobile is the way forward as well. It enables people to participate whenever, wherever, and we also believe that mobile enables us to provide shorter surveys. So I'm not saying she's easy. She's really hard to get. She's a representative of a target group of us that's participating less and less in traditional online surveys. But she would provide us with very relevant input for our proposition developments. So we would really like to get her into proposition research. And Gerard will tell you all about how we do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. But she's mobile, so she's one of the mobile citizens that we really want to reach in our surveys. And we believe that and actually I believe that all of you are ready to reach her, really. But before we can really engage into converting everything we do into mobile research, we really have to ensure that I've also seen in the past the past 2 days, is that there are some specific challenges to mobile research. The first challenge is for a smartphone the size of a mobile screen. Now, if we do conjoint research, we usually take people through like 12 or 15 choice tasks, and in each choice task, which represent market situations of mobile phone plans that they can choose from, they can have 4 or 5 options to choose from. Now, that would not fit on a mobile screen, so we basically have to take it back to something that would fit on a mobile screen, like 2 or different choice options in every task. That's just a minor thing. That's just fitting it to a new platform. The major challenge that we see is that the attention span of the mobile citizen is more limited than the 20 to 30 minute surveys that we basically can have on the traditional means. So, I mean, after 2 or 3 minutes, your survey starts to compete with Twitter, with Facebook. I'm facing it myself here. Your presentations, I'm really trying to pay attention, but you start to compete already with Twitter after 2 or 3 minutes. The same will be going on if you run a mobile survey. So you really have to capture the information that you want to capture really fast. So what we started to do is really do fundamental research into if we can take it back, scale back everything that we do in our complex conjoint studies to something that would fit on a mobile platform. And what we basically now start to claim and think we can back up is that everything that we were able to do behind the screen of a desktop or notebook computer in a survey of up to a half hour in a conjoint surface, that we can take it, scale it back to something that we also can accomplish in about 3 taps on a mobile phone. Now, what does that take? Of course, it takes a lot, and it actually takes us a few things. One of the simplest things it takes is that we have to take up the sample sizes of the studies that we accomplish. Because, of course, if we collect less information of every single respondent, we just have to scale up the sample sizes of what we do, which is not so much a problem in the consumer market because CPI is relatively low, and we believe that if surveys are becoming shorter, it will even be lower than CPI. It's more of a challenge in B2B markets, but we've seen yesterday also with Contar that even with healthcare professionals, we can start to do that. But the bigger challenge is for us on the research design side. And we really have to pay even more attention to the efficiency of our research designs, which we would take in two directions. One is what we would call, and I won't go into the statistical detail, the de-efficiency of our research designs, the statistical efficiency of a research design. But the other one is really what we would call, the past 2 days, is that there are some specific challenges to mobile research. The first challenge is for a smartphone the size of a mobile screen. Now, if we do conjoint research, we usually take people through like 12 or 15 choice tasks, and in each choice task, which represent market situations of mobile phone plans that they can choose from, they can have 4 or 5 options to choose from. Now, that would not fit on a mobile screen, so we basically have to take it back to something that would fit on a mobile screen, like 2 or different choice options in every task. That's just a minor thing. That's just fitting it to a new platform. The major challenge that we see is that the attention span of the mobile citizen is more limited than the 20 to 30 minute surveys that we basically can have on the traditional means. So, I mean, after 2 or 3 minutes, your survey starts to compete with Twitter, with Facebook. And what we believe that the biggest opportunity is that we just can't only interview respondents on the basis of who they are. For example, for Vodafone, if they're already a current Vodafone subscriber, that we want to prevent from transitioning to, for example, an alternative network provider, or do so retention and acquisition if we can attract people together with Vodafone to a Vodafone subscription. But this is just, again, what we've always done. What we also believe that we can do now is that we can take into account who this person is, where he is, when he is there, and what he or she is up to, and that's what we've seen in the past couple of days, and take that context into account when delivering a survey to this person. So not just pick him up because he is a certain person, but also because he or she happens to be at the specific place at the specific point in time. And we will give you an example, Caspar will give you an example of how we suggest to do that.
Yeah, so we can come up with many examples how the where and when would be relevant. I will name one, and that's retail. At Vodafone in the Netherlands, we sell subscription, but we're also one of the biggest retail organizations with around 300 shops throughout the country. And the retail shop floor is actually where the magic happens. That's where the most important decision throughout the customer lifecycle is being taken. It's whether or not to sign a contract with us. We also know that a customer visits the shop more than once, so for us it would be really interesting to know that if a customer leaves the shop without buying something, what his opinion about Vodafone would be like. So would there be an increased or decreased likelihood to churn? Would they prefer specific competitors? And with that knowledge, we can instruct the local shop floor staff with some support for the sales talk, what to emphasize and what not to emphasize. So Gerard will explain something more about how we can get to those insights.
So the same kind of research that we currently did behind notebook and desktop computers at people's homes, we can now also do on shop floor, especially because we just have to give them 3 taps on the computer to really gauge their preferences for mobile phone plans. So what we can do is in order to see how shop floor personnel does on shop floors in the Vodafone outlets in the Netherlands, is, for example, do some sort of an exit poll. Deliver by means, for example, of GPS data or a QR code. It's easy for them to basically, based on informed consent, to opt into the survey. Do some sort of an exit poll in which we do a conjoint survey, taking them through some phone plans of Vodafone versus competition, and really gauge their preferences for certain phone plans, and see for current Vodafone customers if the shop floor personnel did a good job of trying to retain them for the brand. That's not me. Is it me? Okay. Or for competition, yeah, now I'm totally distracted, of course, out of my story. No, and for competition, if we are really able to acquire them through the phone plans. And basically what we can see and deliver to Vodafone is some sort of a dashboard that basically, real time I hope, at some point show the churn risk based on these exit polls, the churn risk at shop floor level. which basically means the risk of current Vodafone customers to move away from the brand. And if that happens, if the churn risk exceeds a certain level that basically Vodafone would no longer get its entitled share in the market, which is always about 33%, they can go back into the stores and retrain and re-incentivize the shop floor personnel to basically do a better job of selling Vodafone. So this is the kind of context-based research that we believe that we can do for Vodafone to help them increase or establish their market position.
Yeah, so wrapping up, we just told you some characteristics about the Dutch market, how competitive it is and how relevant it is to have correct insights. Gerard explained about how SKIM can bring conjoint analysis to the mobile phone. And I would like to conclude with the 3 key reasons why we as Vodafone are in this and are supporting this. And the first one, it's quality. So we can bring target groups into the research that are now becoming more harder to get. The second one, efficiency. So as Gerard mentioned, the cost per interview can go down. And of course, as a buyer of market research, we're always interested in more efficient ways to do research. And the third one, mobile research really fits with our vision. We truly believe that mobile research is easier than research behind a laptop. So it supports, so it fits with being always easiest. And of course, needless to say, as a mobile operator, we owe it to the business to support anything that is going mobile. So thank you for listening.